Good morning, boys and girls. Mrs. Johnson here. Today we have some fun things in store. We are going to read an awesome story, and you may have heard it before, but we're going to read it again today, and we're going to do some recall and questions, and we'll go through all of that. But first, I'm going to share my screen so you can see what our agenda is for today. Okay, so first we are going to do our tricky words. We have two new words today that are tricky that we're going to cover. Then we're going to do our story time, and this story is called Beth. Then we're going to do some answering story questions. We're going to do a little bit of discussion as well. Then we're going to write some sentences from our story, and then we're going to do our checklist. It's a fairly short lesson today, but there's going to be a lot of information and we'll go through it really quickly. So let's get started. First, we are going to do our tricky words. So our tricky word today, I'm going to write it on the board, and I want you to tell me what you think or how you think you would say this word. How would you pronounce this word? Try it out. If you sound it out, it probably sounds like he, right? That's how you think it's pronounced. But it's generally pronounced the. So it actually sounds like th, which is, and then the e actually sounds like a u. So it's the, the. So that is actually how you would pronounce the word the. Like, this is the last piece of pizza. So, as you would probably expect, our th sounds like, but our e is our tricky part of the word because it actually sounds like you. So when we're writing the, we have to remember that even though it sounds like thu, it's actually the. Okay, that's a tricky one. But just remember, the, when you sound it out, sounds like thu, the, but it's actually spelled the. Okay, now our next tricky word, and I find my eraser. I can't find my eraser. Oh well. It's, I'm gonna write it on the board, and you're gonna, I almost gave it to you. I want you to say what you think it sounds like. Can you see that? Let's see. Yeah, it's way up top there. How would you pronounce this word? Okay, so the tricky parts of these words, of this word, are these two letters, W and H. Because how do we pronounce W? That's right, w. And how do we pronounce H? So we have our O, which is so it would sound kind of like w, wah. Kind of sounds like wah, right? But it's actually who. So it's pronounced who, like ooh, because remember these two O's have ooh sound. So it's actually pronounced ooh, who. So when we're writing, who has my doll, you would write W-H-O, who has my doll? Okay, so who is spelled W-H-O, but the tricky part is this W and this H because it actually comes out to ooh, who. All right. Okay, let's move on to our reading of Beth. So I am going to actually show you my screen because we're going to read it through my computer, which sounds super silly. But let me get it for a second. Share my screen. Okay. So first, I want to show you that this is called a screenshot book. So screenshot means it's taking pictures of the story. So our story is called Beth. Usually a story, I'll put my screen up so you can see me. Usually a story's title means a lot about a book. So for example, this book that we read, Down by the Cool of the Pool, it kind of explains what's happening in this book. They were down by the pool and they had a good time. But this story is just called Beth. So this story is about a girl named Beth. So I want you all to think and pay attention to all the things about Beth, okay? Then we are also going to talk about the things that Beth does throughout this story, and all of that. So I want to give you a little bit of background on Beth. So Beth is a 10-year-old girl. She lives in the United States, or the US for short. So what is the United States? Do we live in the United States? Yes, we do. So on this map, this is the best map I have, we live right here in the United States, okay? And she actually travels to the United Kingdom, or the UK for short. So the United Kingdom is all the way over here. This is where the United Kingdom is. So here's the US, and she takes a plane all the way to the UK. All right. So we're going to pay attention to where she travels to. And then we are going to look at the sentences in the story as well. So remember, stories or books are made up of sentences, and a sentence is a complete thought. So also, we remember our sentence rules, which is the first letter in the start of our sentence is capitalized, which means our big brother is the start of our first letter. And it ends, our sentence ends with a punctuation mark called a period. The period indicates that it's time to make a full stop, take a breath, and then continue when we're reading. So we are going to read our story now. This is a story called Beth. Here we go. I am Beth. I am 10. I am at camp. Camp is fun. Here's a picture of Beth at camp. Once, Mom and Dad went on a trip to the camp. All of us were at the camp. Dad and I went up on top of a path at the pond. Mom got a snapshot of us. This is the snapshot. So this is a picture that her mom took at the camp. Then Mom let us snap some shots. Dad got a snapshot of Mom. Here's a picture of Mom. I got a snapshot of a dog with a hot dog. A dog with a hot dog. Let's see. Oh, look at that picture. It's so cute. Nat. This is Nat. Oh, Nat is a kid I met at camp. Here's Nat. I have lots of snapshots of Nat. This is a snapshot of Nat with a fish. This is a snapshot of Nat on a raft. That's a cool raft. It looks like they made that raft out of logs and rope. Nat and I had lots of fun at camp, but then Nat's mom got a job in the UK. Nat left and I felt sad. The trip to the UK. Nat went to the UK and I felt sad, but then Mom set up a trip to the UK. Mom and I went on a jet. Ships are fun, but jets are the best. I got to sit next to the wing. I had lunch, then I had a nap. Mom got this snapshot of the nap. Nat met us at the end of the ramp. I ran up to hug him. Oh, he has a little sign that says Beth. How sweet is that? Then Nat's mom, Dot, got us a cab. This is a snapshot of us with the cab man. Nat and I had a lot of fun. Then it was time for bed. Mom and I slept in a bed next to Nat's bed. Bud the cat. This is a snapshot of Nat's cat, Bud. Nat got Bud from a vet. Bud had a bad leg. The vet had to fix Bud's leg. Oh, that's a cute cat. Bud had to sit in a box with a cast on one leg. Then Nat said, Mom, can I have him? Can I? Can I? Can I? Dot said yes. Oh, look at the poor kid. He had a little leg. He had a broken leg. The fish. This is a snapshot of Nat's fish. The fish swim and splash and munch on fish snacks. He's making a fish face. The cat can smell the fish. It can press on the glass. It can grab at the fish, but it cannot get them. The flag shop. Mom and I went in a lot of shops in the UK. One of the shops was a flag shop. The shop had the US flag, the French flag, and the UK flag. That's Mom in the snapshot with the US flag. The UK flag has a big red cross on it. Nat and his mom held one up. I got this snapshot of the two of them with the flag. So this is the United Kingdom flag, and this is the US flag. Which is the best? This is a snapshot Mom got. All of us had to run up a bunch of steps to get to this spot. Nat and I ran up fast. The moms had to huff and puff to get to the top. Oh, that's such a cute picture. Oops. Sorry, kids, I don't know what happened. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is where they took the screenshot or snapshot of the UK. This next snapshot is one that I got. It is Nat with a bunch of big rocks. Nat had Mom and Dot lift him up. Then Nat said, Beth, get a snapshot of this. I am the rock on top. Get it? So which snapshot is the best? The bus stop. Dot led us to a bus stop. At the bus stop, there was a thrush. Nat held up his hand. The thrush was all set to land on his hand, but then Dot said, Nat, stop that. Nat let his hand drop. So a thrush is a kind of bird. At the bus stop, Nat said, Beth, this is the best bus. I said, why? Is it fast? No, Nat said, it is not that fast. Then why is it the best? Just then, Nat said, there it is. It was a big red bus with a top deck. On the bus, Nat and I sat up on the top deck of the big red bus. The bus went past a big shop. That is where Mom shops, said Nat. That shop has all the best stuff. The bus went past a big clock. A bell went ding dong, ding dong. That is Big Ben, said Nat. Who is Big Ben? I said. Big Ben is not a man, Nat said. Big Ben is the bell that is in that clock. This is Big Ben, and inside there's a bell that has alerts at every hour. The bus went on. That is a posh spot there, Nat said. Posh? I said. What is that? A posh spot is where stuff costs a lot, said Nat. Mom had lunch in there once, and it cost so much that Dad got mad. The man in the black hat. All of us got off the bus. Nat led us up to a man in a black hat. Bet, Nat said, that man will not grin. Why not? I said. His job is to stand there as still as a rock and not grin, Nat said. I will do the best trick I can, Nat said, but I will bet that man will not grin. Nat did a trick and fell on his back. Nat's trick got all of us to grin, but the man in the black hat did not grin. I bet I can get him to grin, I said. I did a split, but the man did not grin. I sang a song and did a jig, but still the man did not grin. Mom got lots of snapshots of us and the man in the black hat, but there is not one snapshot where that man grins. He's very serious. The man in the kilt. Once Nat and I met a man in a kilt. I said, why is that man in a dress? Nat said, that is not a dress, it is a kilt. A quilt? I said. No, Nat said, a kilt. What is a kilt? I said. Mom said, the kilt tells us that the man is a Scot. The cloth on the kilt tells us where the man is from. So the kilt tells us his past? I said. Yes, said Mom. It is a bit of his past. Mom got this snapshot of us with the man in the kilt. The map. Once all of us were on a trip when a dog ran up and bit the map. Dot said, bad dog, stop that. Drop that map, drop it. But the dog did not drop the map. The dog ran up the block with the map. Uh-oh. Nat ran to get the map, but Dot said, it is just a map. Let the dog have it. Just then the dog let the map drop. Nat got it and held it up. Here it is, Nat said, but it's got a big rip in it. Well, Dot said, I am just glad the dog bit the map and not one of us. In the cab. Dot got us a cab. The cabman said, where to? Dot said, the King's Pub. What is a pub? I said. A pub is a spot to get lunch, said Nat. If it's the King's Pub, I said, I bet it's posh. Will I get to sit with the king? No, said Dot with a grin, but this pub has got the best fish and chips. The cabman got us to the pub in a flash. Then all of us went in to have lunch. Lunch at the King's Pub. At the King's Pub, All of us had fish and chips. All of the pubs in the UK sell fish and chips. The fish and chips I had in the King's Pub were the best I had in the UK. Yum, yum. Matt had a glass of milk with his fish and chips. Then his hand hit the glass. Splash! The milk went on Dot's fish and chips. This snapshot tells it all. Oh no! The punt. Dot said, let's read a punt. A punt? I said. What's that? Dot led us to a dock where there were two punts there, as well as a man with a long stick. Let's rent one, I said. All of us got in the punt. The man with the stick got in last. The man said, kids, this punt can tip. If it tips, all of us will get wet. The best thing to do is to sit still and not stand up. Nat and I sat still and did not get wet. It was a lot of fun. The trip back. The trip to the UK was so much fun. I was sad that it had to end. When it did end, Nat and I had a hug. So did Mom and Dot. Then Mom and I got back on the jet. When Mom and I got back to the US, Dad met us. Dad, I said, I am glad. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, boys and girls. Dad, I said, I am glad you are here. I wish you were with us in the UK. Mom and I went on a punt and had fish and chips at a pub. Nat and I sat on top of a big red bus and went past Big Ben. It was the best trip. I got a map of the UK and hung it up. I stuck red dots on all the spots Mom and I went to. Mom got prints of the snapshots from the trip. I sent the best ones to Nat. The end. That was a great story, don't you think? I thought it was wonderful. I have been to the UK myself, to London, and it is just like the story depicts. You have those big red buses, you get fish and chips. I saw the Big Ben clock. It truly is a wonderful spot. Okay, now I'm going to reread parts of the story and I'm going to ask some questions. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, we are going to go back to the beginning of the story. We're not going to read the whole story through. We're just going to go to certain pages, okay? Let's see. I can get to this faster. Okay. So pay close attention to this sentence. I am Beth. I am 10. I am at camp. Why are these I's underlined? Why are those I's underlined? What have we learned about this word? This word, that's right, is a tricky word because I is usually pronounced like igloo, but in a sentence like this where it's underlined, it's pronounced I, like I am a teacher. Or you could say yourself, I am a student. So that is part of this sentence, and that's why it is underlined. Now we are going to move on to a new page. Here. Who can tell me a noun that names a person on this page? Where is a noun on this page? I'll read one sentence. Once, Mom and Dad went on a trip to the camp. All of us were at the camp. So Mom and Dad are a noun because it's a person. Very good. Now, what about a place for noun? So let's find a noun that names a place. Once Mom and Dad went on a trip to the camp. Is camp a place? Yes, camp is a place, so that is another one of our nouns. Now, who can tell me a noun that names a thing on the page? What is a thing on this page? Dad and I went on top of a path at the pond. Is a path a thing? Or is it a place? A path is a thing because a path isn't a place, it's a thing to get to a place like the pond. A pond is also a place, so those are both nouns. Path, pond, and Mom and Dad are nouns. Very good, boys and girls. Okay, now remember this word right here. Let's get to it. This word. Why is this word special? We learned about this one. That's right. It is a tricky word. We have learned. So the letter E right here is underlined because that is the part of the word that is not sounded like as we usually expect it. That's why it is underlined, because this word is the, which sounds like the instead of the E. So that's why the E is underlined to indicate that it's pronounced All right, let's move on to the next page. Oh, right here. So you see how Beth's hair is blowing in the wind. Why do you think it's blowing in the wind on top of the pond? What do you think the weather is like? Do you think it's warm and sunny? Is it raining? Very good. It's windy. It's windy at the end of the path to the pond. That's why her hair is blowing like that. Very good. Okay, now we are going to ask some questions on this page. Okay, So we have some words. Which words are tricky words? I'm going to have you look at this page, and I want you to tell me which words are tricky words. Remember that tricky words do not play by the rules. So even though they look nice, they don't play nice because they don't sound how they look. So let's look. I see 3. I'm going to circle them now, okay? So we have some, because remember, some is spelled S-O-M-E, but it's actually pronounced some, S-U-M, because this O and E make the U sound. That's why on our page, it's the O and E are underlined because some, I'll write it up here, I'm running out of room. The O and the E make a U sound. So it's some. That's one tricky word. What is our next tricky word that you see? Yep. Dad got a snapshot of mom. So even though A is pronounced apple, it's right here, it's underlined because it sounds like you, umbrella, but it's actually A, but it's pronounced you. That's another tricky one. And our last tricky word is, see if you can identify it, it's underlined. That's right, of. I'm running out of space, let's see. Sad, I lost my rag. Okay, of, because of is spelled O-F, but it's actually pronounced like V, like U-V, of. But it's a tricky word because it's actually spelled O-F, but pronounced U-V, of. Very good. All right, let's move on to our next page. And I want you guys to try and read this sentence. So take a minute and read it in your head and then try to read it out loud. Okay, so let's read it together. Follow my pointer. I got a snapshot of a dog with a hot dog. So it says, I got a snapshot of a dog with a hot dog. Very good. Okay, now we are going to go to this next page. What is the name of this dog? Can you find his name on this page? Jet? Jet? How do you know that's his name? Oh, because if you can see on his collar, he has a tag that says Jet. And dogs need those tags so we can identify their name. Very good, boys and girls. You did wonderful with this story and this lesson. I am very impressed. So now I'm going to ask you a question about the story. Okay, so where are Beth and her parents at the start of the story? They're not in the UK yet. Where does Beth meet Nat? At camp, that's right. So both her parents, Beth's parents, are at camp. Who is telling us the story? So in other words, who is the narrator? The narrator is the person telling the story. That's right, me. I was telling it, but who was saying it in the story? Who was interpreting everything? Was Nat telling the story? No. Was Beth's mom telling the story? No. So who was telling us their story? That's right, Beth. Very good. Okay, Beth took a funny snapshot. What did she take a picture of that was funny? Hint, we just looked at it. That's right, she took a picture of a dog with a hot dog. That was pretty funny. Okay, now we are going to practice writing our sentences. So you're going to want to go get some lined paper, a writing utensil, and pause here, and we'll come back and we will write some sentences together. So go grab it and pause. Okay, boys and girls, hopefully by now you've gotten your paper and your writing utensils. And now I am going to write a sentence, and I want you to practice writing it with me, okay? So the first sentence is, who went to the top of the pond? Who went to the top of the pond? I want you to write your response at the bottom. So if you are writing on lined paper, I want you to write this, then I want you to write your answer, okay? Then the second sentence is, who got some snapshots? Who got some snapshots? So you're going to write this, and then you're going to write your answer underneath your sentence, okay? So I want you to pause here and come back when you've finished writing both sentences and your answer. So pause. Okay, hopefully by now you wrote your answers, and I'm going to write mine now. So don't be cheating. Hopefully you already did yours. So who went to the top of the pond? The answer is Dad and Beth. Dad and Beth. Sorry, my marker was smelly. Dad and Beth went to the top of the pond. Next question. Who got some snapshots? Who's taking pictures in our story? Beth. Very good. All right, let's see what we have left for today. Oh my goodness, boys and girls, we are done for our day. So I'm going to show you our checklist so you can see what we've accomplished today. Okay, so we did our tricky words. Our tricky words were the and who. We did those. Check. We did our reading of what was the story called? Beth. Very good. Then we answered some story questions. That we did. We did our sentences. Very good. And now we're doing our checklist. So we have finished our lesson for today. I hope you enjoyed our lesson and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you all next time. Bye, boys and girls.